Hey, how you feeling? This is Jason George, aka Dr. Ben Warren from Grey's Anatomy and Station 19, and you are on FR Conventions. Wow, he's evolved a ton. I mean, when they first discovered, when he first cut open that guy with the clipboard to perform surgery, it started this. That was the seed of Ben will break, color outside the lines and break the rules to do something. And then they found out that I personally was a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, and they started adding that to the character. And then he goes and becomes a firefighter, and so he's grown incredibly. And then again, he also, it's 15 years now, so he's also become a dad, and he's learned to be responsible. And that the stuff that I do, I can't show my kids that example. I've got to figure out how to, and then it was the same thing with, him being a firefighter. He's like, I need to figure out how to, never lose the part of him that says, I'll break the rules and do what I need to do to save somebody's life. But maybe I think for a second, maybe there's another way to get at this. Maybe, look before you leap a little bit. But if that leaping is the only way, then you got to do what you got to do. It was the fact that Shondaland has a great way of really picking fantastic people to work on projects. So, that some of the writers were from Grey's Anatomy, so I knew them, and I knew what kind of atmosphere they were going to create, and I got to be a part of creating the atmosphere of Station 19 from day one. So we had fun, we were professional, but we were goofy and enjoying ourselves, and you take the work seriously, but you don't take yourself too seriously. So being a part of that was a blast to help create that atmosphere. So it wasn't a problem. It was a little bit of did have to think about it a little bit to make sure we were responsible in how we created that atmosphere of Station 19 as a workplace. But it was never hard, because it's also, like I said, Shondaland picks great people. So every actor that landed on that stage, every director, all the writers were all really great people that you want to hang out with outside of work, so it makes it easy. I always joke that, Grey's Anatomy is, this monster show that, you could never recreate that kind of, the way it blew up under the, in the world and in the zeitgeist. But Station 19 is an incredibly successful show in its own right, but it's I always say, they're the seniors and we're the freshmen. You know what I mean? We're every bit as smart and everything like that, but it was a newer show, and we were still enjoying it. We weren't, seniors get too cool for school sometimes, and the scrappy young ones. But now I'm back at Grey's, and so I'm a senior now. They each present their different challenges. I mean, and that's what I loved about, especially the period when both shows existed, was I got to go back and forth, because Station 19 physically is a lot more fun, and I'm a very cerebral person, and so, but I'm also very athletic and love it. And so when I do something that gets me to my body, I love that. That said, I live in my mind. So the doctor thing is very cerebral, and how do I bring the intensity of the moment, but I don't get to stand up and jump over stuff and leap through windows and run through fire. You've got to do it just with your eyes while you're wearing a mask. So Grey's Anatomy brings a whole different other kind of skills and muscles as an actor. So I can't pick one or the other. I love them both. But this one gets adrenaline going. So if you had a gun to my head, then the adrenaline might win. But I get to wear pajamas all day doing Grey's Anatomy, so that's also pretty nice. It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part. The problem is I don't like Chandra Wilson very much. I think she's a horrible human being, and I really don't enjoy being around her. She's pretty phenomenal, people, and we have a good time, and it's easy. I tell people, I say, if you can picture your favorite pair of pants or jacket or shirt that just fits you like a glove, feels great, it looks great always, that's when we act together. It's easy. The best compliment I felt like we got was when some of the directors shared with us that they said, when directors come in, new directors that aren't used to doing the show, the producers tell them how to deal with different actors, and like, you know, this is the thing with this relationship, this is the thing with this is the thing with these actors. And they said, when it's Ben and Bailey, just let them do what they do. Just, they're fine. Just, you know, they know what's going on. And that was like a big compliment. And I'm just really proud of also like a successful, intelligent, educated black couple that's been around for 15 years in TV is kind of a big deal, and not doesn't happen often. So that's one of the things that for me in my career, it's one of the prouder things. You know, being here today, you know, and having a couple of different people, you know, crying because they appreciated that so much was actually, you know, very cool. One that hit me the hardest, just because, you know, I've been with my wife forever, since we were in college, and when she had the, you know, heart attack and tried to not hide it from him, but didn't want to worry anybody until she knew it was on. She went to a different hospital. When Bailey did all that, I thought of both my mom and my wife, and I've yelled at my mother about it. My wife knows better, but I just think about the woman that I love and, you know, the mother of my children. And I actually talked with the writer of that episode and actually said, you know, there was a speech, you know, like a back and forth of what Ben says when he comes in and finally realizes she's in the, you know, finally gets to her in the hospital. And I said, this is all great, but I think that Ben just says, you called me. I said, and I think he just keeps repeating that, like whatever excuse she tries to give, it's because that's like, he's angry, he's pissed at her, he loves her, he's scared to death that he almost lost her. I also love that it like talked about how black women, heart attacks present differently. Like how, like, you know, the racial aspects play into medicine, that sort of thing. All, you know, with my mother, that's a big thing. So, but all those pieces, when he keeps saying it, it's like all of those emotions in one spot. And for me, that was one of those, it's a lot of the Ben and Bailey relationship in one scene where he's like, I'm the person you call. That's the gig. That's the contract. You don't go to a different hospital. You don't avoid, you know, and he's like, you know, I'm getting that, I'm feeling it right now even when I talk about it, because I've yelled at my mom for not telling me that she had a, you know, breast cancer scare. Everything was fine at the time, but they found a lump, and she didn't tell us until she knew it was benign. And I was like, no, you tell us. You tell us the instant we're your boys, we take care of each other. That to me gets really visceral and hits hard. So that for me was all the love and all that they drive each other crazy and everything in one scene. So that's one of my favorite scenes. Yeah, when, you know, I mean, it's part of, I guess, you know, Ben becoming dad of the Firehouse. He wasn't the most experienced fighter, but he'd had some of the most life experience of anybody in the house. He was older than life. So he, you know, it's funny because, like, you know, the Marina wedding he presided over the wedding of, you know, Sullivan and Chief Ross, and like, you know, and so it hit a spot where we had a wedding on Grey's this season, and Ben wasn't presiding over it. And I was like, what's happening? That's what Ben does. Like he's a doctor, he's a firefighter, and he does weddings. So it was like, I've just gotten used to, if there's a wedding, Ben's supposed to be up front. But, you know, Jake did that one. Those are the best. I mean, the best scenes are when, in Station 19, are when everybody's eating in the beanery, they call it. It's the kitchen in the dining room, because it's all the actors, and it's the crew loves it and they hate it because we joke around and we screw around so much, and it's really it's a fun day, but it's also makes it a long day because we have to say we have to shoot the scene now. Let us, you know, please can we shoot the scene? And it's kind of like when we get into you know, civilian clothes. What's fun is, for the women on the show, it's funny because they're so used to, like, only Stefania gets to wear regular clothes pretty often on the show. Everybody else is in, you know, uniforms all the time. So when we go to Joe's bar and everybody's in civilian clothes, it's kind of, you remember, you go, oh, you're all like ridiculously gorgeous women. I forgot. You know what I mean? The hair's not just pulled back and it's not just the uniform. So it's like, oh, y'all can wear some clothes. Oh, okay, right. Forgot. And it's, you know, it's like, you know, realizing your sister's, you know, that your friends think your sister's sexy. That's the thing where you go, well, oh, okay, yeah, wow, I forgot about that. But it makes it fun, and it's fun to get out of the clothes and put something else on. Oh, like for me, we were on the show at the same time for a while. We had very, very few scenes together, and they were always in groups. But Sandra Oh, you know what I mean? Christina Yang is a pretty awesome character. When I first started watching the show, my immediate thought was there are two actors on that show. I said I need to do that show someday, and I never thought I'd actually be on it. And I thought I would love to do a scene with Sandra Oh or that Bailey character. She seems pretty cool. She's pretty much a beast of an actress. And so I got one out of the two. I'll take it.